Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be considering a simple Java application and how to compile and execute this Java application. First off, open up your preferred text editor. In this class, we'll be using Sublime Text, and let's begin. Now, there are some fundamental things you need to understand about the Java programming language before we start typing our code. The first thing is you must have at least one public class in your source file, and you must also have a main method. The other rule is also that you need to have your main method in a public class. So to write a simple Java application in our instance, we are going to write a public class, one public class, and our main method will be embedded in that public class. The structure of Java is such that you have packages, and then inside those packages you have classes. Inside those classes you have methods, and inside those methods you have lines of code that do the that are basically the foot soldiers. Okay, and that's the structure, the general structure of the Java programming language. So we'll start off by naming our class. In this case, we'll be naming our class CSB. So, and our class is to be public so that our Java virtual machine will be able to access um, this class. So, public class, and what name shall we give it? Let's say CSB. Now we open and close our scopes using the curly bracket, and there we go. Next, we need to define our main method, which is also a public method, static. I'll be explaining the static keyword further down the line in a separate video. Void, which is the return type, saying that we're not returning anything, and then main, which is the name of the method. Now it accepts an arguments of the type string, but it's of the type arrays. So, and the name is args. Okay, so we open and close the scope as well, and then we can type our lines of code. Okay, now you would note that I'm not getting any color coding at this moment, and the reason why there's no color coding is because we have not saved our file. Now, in order to save our file, we need to make sure that we save our file as the same name as our public class that contains our main method. In this case, the public class that contains the main method is CSB. Now note that Java is case sensitive. Now, so if you have capital C, capital S, capital B, it means that your file name is going to be capital C, capital S, capital B dot Java. Okay, these I have already done, and we have it here. So you have CSB. Now to save, I'll just go through the menu here, and then you go to save. But because I've done that already, I'll just click on save as so that we can see the dialog box. Okay, so it's suggesting this name, but that's not the name I want, so I'll just say csv.java, and then I say save. It says, do I want to replace? Say yes. Okay, and that's because I'm saving as. If you're just saving for the first time, it won't ask you if you want to replace, especially if that file does not exist previously. Okay, so the only new thing that was added to the code, or that had been done before, is this line that says system.out.println hello world. Now, println is a method that takes an argument of a string or a variable and displays whatever is within that argument, within the brackets, on the screen. Okay, and it uses the object out to do that. This print line is a function that is in the java.lang package. Okay, so, and the system is the class. More of these you can check out in the Java docs and the Oracle website. Further down the line, I'll be showing you what that website looks like and how to use the website as a reference material for Java programming. Okay, so that's that. Now that we have saved, the next thing is for us to compile and execute this program. Now, to compile this program, I'll do Windows R, CMD, and that program was saved in a folder or in a directory on our desktop. In a previous video, you would see that we already covered how to use the CD to change our directory from one directory to the other, and in this case that's exactly what we're going to be using a relative path, knowing that the desktop exists in this folder, and then there's a separate folder that exists for where my source file is. Okay, since I do not remember what the directory is, I'm just going to do a dir to list out all those things that are in my desktop, and then I'll scroll and look for the exact name. Okay, so the exact name of what I'm looking for is cos 205 CSB. Okay, so I'll just do a cd for cos 205 CSB. I'll make it a string so that there's no error, even though Windows operating system would still allow you to put a space without giving you an error. Okay, so now that we're in that directory, let's see what is the content. Now we see our source file csv.java. Now, to compile a Java file, we need to use, as long as you have properly installed your JDK and you have added it to your environment variables, you should not have a problem with this phase with using Java. Now, if you type Java and press enter, it will show you how to use the Java command. So, and once this appears on your screen by just typing Java, you know you're on the right path. You've properly installed your JDK and essentially installed your Java compiler. So now we asked our Java compiler, which is Java, to compile CSB. In this case, you must specify the file extension, which is .java. Okay, and once we hit enter, if we have errors, it will display those errors, but if we are error free, then it doesn't say anything. In this case, it's error free and it doesn't say anything. Now let's go back just before we execute the application, or better still, let's execute this application, then go back and introduce an error and then see how it behaves when there's an error. Okay, so we say Java, and then in this case we do not specify the extension when we want to execute uh, the application. So we just say Java and then we say CSB and then we press enter, and there you go. It displays hello world on the screen, which is what we asked it to do. Now if we wanted to introduce an error, let's just remove this semicolon and then save, control save that. I can come back to compile, and then it's error free again, and then I can remove the file extension and remove the C, and then we're back in business. Okay, so this is how to um, compile and run a Java command line interface application from your command prompt.